What is your "we will never speak of this again" moment? My high school girlfriend asked if she could mail some sexy underwear/kink stuff to my house because she couldn't pass off getting mail when her parents collect it. Fine with my family is very serious about privacy. However, my neighbor wasn't, and the mailman delivered it to her house. She opened it not realizing it was addressed to my house. She panicked, not knowing what to do, and brought it to my house. I wasn't home, so my older sister collected it and left it on my bed. When I returned home, all my sister said was, "There's a package on your bed and we are never speaking of this again." I found it hysterical. My girlfriend was mortified. My divorced dad was playing horseshoes in a league with my aunt, mom's sister. They went together one night when I was about 16. I went to a friend's house to sleep over and didn't think any more of it until I got home the next morning and her car was still in the driveway. Innocent and stupid me went into the house expecting my aunt to maybe be crashed on the couch or something. Then I heard the shower running and thought, weird, maybe she's taking a shower before she leaves. Then I heard my dad's laugh coming from the bathroom with my aunt laughing too. I tiptoed out of the house and went right back to my friend's house completely flabbergasted by what I just walked in on. Edit, thanks for the gold. I'll be sure to pass the good news on to my dad. Saw my friend's mom topless by accident. We don't talk about it. Was weird going to his house the next day. Could not make eye contact with her after that. Haha. This kinda happened to me once. I was at my brother's girlfriend's house waiting for them to get back. While waiting I needed to go to the bathroom. Lo and behold, girlfriend's mom walks out in only her underwear and screams, "When did you get here?" I then ran back to the living room and just sat staring blankly at the TV till my bro got back. This is my friend's story. She smoked weed a bit in high school, but obviously hid it from her parents. This one time she came downstairs in the morning to find a joint sitting on the kitchen counter. She knew for sure it wasn't hers and that she wouldn't be stupid enough to leave one out like that. Her mother soon after walked downstairs and started cleaning up around the kitchen. When she ran into the joint, she paused, locked eyes for a bit with my friend, said "oh," and quickly brushed it into her hand and got rid of it. They both pretended it never happened. So the mother smoked. She thinks her mom was covering for her dad. Later on she once found a bong in his closet. She always wanted to smoke with him after that, but didn't know how to bring it up. Hence they never talked about it again. When I was a teenager, my best friend was over and we were drinking. I was probably 14 to 15. My mom had just recently found out my stepdad cheated on her and they got into a huge fight that night and he stormed off and left. My friend went out to our loft on the second floor and came running back into my room and said, "Chubba, your mom is trying to kill herself." I drunkenly ran out of my room and saw a curtain tied around the banister of the loft and my mom roping it around her neck on the floor below while standing on a chair. I ran downstairs, grabbed a knife, held it to my stomach, and was screaming/sobbing that if she killed herself, I'd kill myself too. And I meant it too. I was prepared to stab myself in that moment. That was the only thing that made sense as an intoxicated teen at the time. The only way to get my mom to not hurt herself. She got down from the chair, grabbed the knife from me, and we both sobbed together. She then had an inpatient stay for a few days after that. We've not spoken about it since. Matched with my cousin on Tinder. I was like, wow, she is ho. Oh my god, that's my cousin. While swiping, it all happened so fast. Same thing must have happened to her because we matched. I just messaged her and said we never speak of this. Agreed? And she said agreed. And we've never spoken about it. Things are weird around the holidays. We just kinda make eye contact and then one of us finds a reason to leave the room immediately to go and talk to other family members who we have not matched with on Tinder. Teenage me, maybe 14. I find out a girl my age wants to suck me off in my neighborhood. We meet in the woods one night and do the deed. A week later she posts it on MySpace. That night I'm outside shooting hoops with my friends and her father walks over to my house and I immediately know what's going on. He asks to speak to my parents and I'll let him in the house. After the most painful hour of my life he appears out of the front door and leaves. My parents call me in and we discuss it and I cry like a bitch from being embarrassed. It's been 15 years and it has never been brought up again. Wait, she posted it on MySpace? How? Like she recorded it? TF lol. She posted it as her status, or whatever Miss Space called it. She also did the same thing to one of my friends in our neighborhood and he called me crying haha. When I was 8 years old I went swimming with my brother and his girlfriend at my grandparents' house. Our house wasn't far, so we just walked back in our swimsuits. Once we got back to the house I was told to shower and wait for them in the living room until they've showered. So my brother and his girlfriend went down into our basement, where my brother's room was, and I went into the upstairs bathroom to shower. I realized I didn't have a towel, and started to make my way to my mother's bathroom for a towel. That is when I noticed a cucumber sitting on the counter. Bear with me here, this is where it gets odd. I took the cucumber and went downstairs. As I approached my brother's bedroom door I shoved the cucumber in my swimming trunks. I was just imagining the hilarity that would come after I showed them my goofy trick. So I swing the door open in complete confidence and the first thing I see is my brother tearing off his girlfriend's bikini top with his mouth. The cucumber hit the floor as well as my jaw. There they were. The first breasts I'd ever laid eyes on. Suddenly I made eye contact with my brother's girlfriend and then with my brother. I looked down and saw the cucumber at my feet and said I wanted you to think the cucumber was my wiener as a joke. I picked up the cucumber, turned and shut the door behind me. My brother and his girlfriend are now married and have been together for 12 years. We've never spoken of that event again. You should get them a cucumber with a nice red ribbon on it for their 20th anniversary. I had internal bleeding and really low blood pressure. I was in the hospital and instructed to not try to stand or walk since I'd faint. I didn't obey that. I went to take a piss and my girlfriend saw and chased after me. She caught up just in time to throw herself between me and the floor to prevent me from cracking my head open as I fell back unconscious, dick out, peeing all over everything on the way down. I awoke with her sandwiched between me and the tile floors, lying in a pool of my piss. And that's actually the moment I realized I should marry that girl. I did. But that's not the story I tell when someone asked, when did you know she was the one? Not gonna lie, that's the perfect story for I knew she was the one. Yeah, that's a story for the wedding, if ever I've heard one. One faithful night, when I was around 12, I woke up, and for some reason I was sure I was hella late for school. I threw on some clothes, and walked into the kitchen, still half asleep. What I saw in the kitchen was utterly confusing. My dad was standing there, dick out, chugging milk straight from the carton like a madman. I looked at him, but was too tired to be shocked. He on the other hand looked like he had been caught chugging milk by the ghost of Hitler. Then I looked up at the clock. It was 4 AM. I really didn't understand anything, except that I could sleep more at this point. So without a word I just turned around slowly and went back to bed. The look on his face still haunts me. Me and one of my friends were hanging out when we were probably 10 or 11. We went behind an elementary school on the weekend to play and ended up going behind a dumpster and getting naked and looking at each other. We never hung out again, and every time we saw each other throughout high school it was a little weird. Oh no, I just had a flashback to something I haven't thought of in years. When I was maybe 6 or 7 I had a female friend over and we went up to my room to play. My dad was downstairs. We decided what better thing to do than get naked and go in my closet. No real reason and nothing sexual. Just curiosity I suppose. But of course my dad comes to check on us. He opened the closet door, saw us, and immediately closed it again and left. Never to be spoken of again. I was about 15. Definitely old enough to know better. I was putting spiders and ice cubes on the super hot wood stove because the lead and rest effect was interesting. I thought it would be funny to do it with piss. It was not funny to do it with piss. For the stid, what happens is the piss vaporizes and depending on the volume of your bladder, produces a thick and clearly visible dark brown cloud. If you can imagine the smog line in LA, it looks like that. That cloud hugs the ceiling and hangs down about a foot. It doesn't really move because it's water vapor and it leaves a film on everything it touches. It smells like, well, like burnt piss, and you can also taste it. The cloud absolutely does not dissipate before your mother gets home from work. I was sort of a naughty kid anyhow, so she thought I had started a fire with something. In order to avoid a worse punishment I had to take dump responsibility. That was the only time I can remember her looking at me with actual hatred.